12 seconds. That's all it took to save his life, destroy my cover, and change absolutely everything. But to understand those 12 seconds, you need to know who I was before I became invisible. My name is Lena. At least, that's what I call myself now. Every morning, I wake up at 4:30. The alarm doesn't make a sound. I've trained myself to wake before it rings, because even in sleep, I can't afford to be careless. I dress in the dark. Black pants 2 sizes too big, a shapeless shirt that hides every curve, thick-soled shoes that make no sound on marble floors. Then come the glasses, clear lenses, heavy black frames that obscure half my face. I pull my hair back so tight it hurts, twist it into a bun that makes me look older, plainer, forgettable. Invisible. That's the goal. That's survival. By 5:15, I'm walking through Monaco's empty streets. The city is still sleeping off last night's excesses, champagne hangovers, and expensive regrets. I like it this way, when the streets belong to cleaners and delivery drivers, people like me who exist in the margins of this glittering world. The Mediterranean whispers against the harbor walls, and for a moment, I can almost pretend I'm just a normal woman going to a normal job. But I'm not normal. I've never been normal. The nightclub where I work is called Lucille, the Sky. It's the kind of place where admission costs more than most people earn in a week, where the champagne flows like water and every surface gleams with gold and crystal. I enter through the service entrance, a plain metal door wedged between a designer boutique and an art gallery. Inside, the fluorescent lights hum over industrial tile, and the smell of cleaning chemicals mixed with stale perfume hits me like a familiar greeting. "Morning, Lena," Marie calls from the kitchen. She's the head chef, a woman in her 60s with flour-dusted hands and kind eyes. She's one of the few people here who actually sees me, who treats me like I'm human. "Morning," I reply softly, keeping my voice quiet, unremarkable. I've learned that even voices can be too memorable. I change into my uniform, black and white, pressed and crisp, with a name tag that says simply, Staff. Not even my fake name. Just Staff. Perfect. The club won't open for hours, but there's always work to do. I polish wine glasses until they're flawless, fold napkins into intricate shapes, arrange flowers in crystal vases. My hands move with precision, muscle memory from a different life. Back then, precision meant the difference between winning and dying. Now it just means keeping my job, staying invisible, surviving another day. You want to know about that other life, don't they? The one I'm running from? Fine. I'll tell you. But it's not a pretty story. 3 years ago, I wasn't Lena the waitress. I was the phantom. Close your eyes and imagine. A concrete basement somewhere in Eastern Europe, the air thick with sweat and cigarette smoke and the metallic tang of blood. Hundreds of people pressed against chain-link fencing, screaming, betting, hungry for violence. And in the center of it all, a fighting ring. No rules, no mercy, just 2 people and the understanding that only one walks out standing. That was my world. That was my kingdom. I was 19 when I fought my first match. I was 23 when I disappeared. They called me the Phantom because I moved like smoke, there one moment, gone the next. I wasn't the biggest fighter or the strongest, but I was fast, precise, and I understood something my opponents didn't. Fighting isn't about anger. It's about control. It's mathematics and physics wrapped in flesh and bone. Angle of attack, center of gravity, vulnerable points on the human body. I studied fighters the way scholars study ancient texts, learning their patterns, their tells, their weaknesses. I never lost a fight. Not one. The crowds loved me. They chanted my name until the walls shook. Phantom. 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 They bet fortunes on me, won and lost everything because of me. I made a lot of dangerous people very, very rich. And then I made one dangerous person very, very angry. His name was Konstantin Volkov, a crime lord who controlled everything from drugs to weapons to the underground fighting circuits across 6 countries. He was the kind of man who smiled while ordering executions, who treated human lives like chess pieces to be sacrificed. He owned me, owned my contract, owned my fights, owned the money I generated. One night, he told me to throw a fight, to lose deliberately, to take a fall in the 3rd round and make it look good. "There's more money in your defeat than your victory this time," he said, smoke curling from his cigarette. You understand? I understood. I understood that he'd bet against me, that my loss would earn him millions, that my perfect record meant nothing compared to his greed. I also understood that I was done being owned. I won that fight, knocked my opponent unconscious in 90 seconds flat, and walked out of that ring for the last time while Constantine screamed my name in fury. I disappeared that same night, changed my appearance, burned my identity, and ran. Within 48 hours, there was a bounty on my head. $5 million for the phantom, dead or alive. For 3 years, I've been running. 3 years of looking over my shoulder, of never staying in one place too long, of becoming a different person every 6 months. I've been a bartender in Prague, a hotel maid in Barcelona, a grocery store clerk in Lyon. Each time, the same routine: be forgettable, be invisible, survive. Monaco was supposed to be my safest hiding place yet. Who would look for an underground fighter in a playground for billionaires? Who would suspect the quiet waitress serving $1,000 bottles of champagne was once the most feared name in illegal fighting? I thought I was safe. I was so wrong. Friday nights at Le Cile are chaos wrapped in elegance. By 9 p.m., every table is full, every private room occupied by people who measure their wealth in yachts and private jets. The music pulses, something electronic and hypnotic that costs a fortune just to license. I move through the crowd with my tray, a ghost in black and white, visible only when someone needs a fresh drink or a clean ashtray. Champagne, a woman in diamonds demands without looking at me. Right away, madam. Where's my vodka? A man barks at his phone, snapping fingers in my direction. Coming, sir. I'm a robot, an automaton, a piece of the furniture that occasionally brings alcohol. And I'm okay with that, because nobody looks at furniture. Nobody remembers the face of their waitress. I'm safe in my invisibility. Then he walks in. Victor Kane. I know who he is, everyone does. Tech billionaire, venture capitalist, the man who supposedly revolutionized artificial intelligence and made his first billion before turning 30. He's 42 now, and his fortune is estimated at somewhere north of $20 billion. He's on magazine covers, on television, in newspaper articles about the future of technology. He's also, according to the whispers among the staff, an absolute nightmare. He made a waitress cry last month, Sophie told me once. She brought him the wrong wine, not the wrong wine, wrong vintage, off by a single year, and he humiliated her in front of everyone. He tips well, though, Marco added. If you survive his mood. I watch him enter with his entourage. 3 men in expensive suits, 2 women who look like models, all of them moving like sharks through water. Victor is tall, probably 6'2", with dark hair silvered at the temples and eyes like ice chips. He wears a white suit, pristine, custom-tailored, probably worth more than I've earned in the last year. And he moves with the absolute confidence of a man who has never been told no. They settle into a private booth in the corner, the best table in the house, the one that's always reserved for him. Champagne appears without anyone ordering. Dom Perignon, the $500 bottle, not the $5,000 one. I guess even billionaires have budgets. I'm not assigned to his section. Thank God. I stay on the opposite side of the club, serving people who merely have millions instead of billions, people whose cruelty is at least ordinary. But the universe, it seems, has a sense of humor. Lena. It's Pierre, the floor manager, his face tight with stress. Christina called in sick. I need you to cover Section 3. Section 3. Victor Kane's section. I start to protest, but Pierre is already gone, pulled away by some other crisis. My hands are steady as I lift my tray. They're always steady. I've faced worse than arrogant billionaires. I've faced men who wanted to break me, kill me, erase me. I can handle one entitled rich man. I approach the table. 6 people, all talking over each other, competing to be the wittiest, the most clever, the most worthy of Victor's attention. He's not really listening to any of them. His eyes are on his phone, fingers scrolling, probably making million-dollar decisions between sips of champagne. Excuse me, I say quietly. Can I get anyone anything else? Nobody acknowledges me. I might as well have spoken to the wall. I'm turning to leave when one of the women, blonde, stunning, wearing a dress that costs more than a car, reaches for her champagne glass. Her bracelet catches on her clutch purse. The purse tips. And in slow motion, inevitable as gravity, everything goes wrong. The purse hits my tray. My tray tilts. The wine glass, a full glass of Chateau Margaux, deep red, expensive, slides off the tray's edge. And falls. And falls. And empties itself across Victor Kane's pristine white suit. Time stops. The red spreads like blood across white fabric. Crimson against snow. The entire booth goes silent. The conversations around us die. Someone gasps. Victor Kane looks down at his ruined suit. Looks up at me, and his eyes, those ice chip eyes, fill with something dark and furious. "Do you," he says, his voice deadly quiet, "have any idea what you've just done?" My heart hammers against my ribs. "Sir, I'm so sorry, This suit is Brioni. Custom made. It costs more than you'll make in 5 years." He stands, and he's so much taller than me, towering, intimidating. "You've just humiliated me in front of my guests, in front of everyone in this club." "It was an accident," I try to say, but my voice comes out small, frightened. And I hate it. I hate sounding like a victim. But I can't afford to be anything else right now. "An accident," he repeats, mockery dripping from every syllable. "Well, there are consequences for accidents." He grabs my arm, not hard enough to bruise, but firm enough that everyone can see he's in control. "Come with me. Now." I glance at Pierre, desperate, but he won't meet my eyes. Nobody will help me. Nobody ever helps the waitress against the billionaire. Victor Kane drags me through the club, past staring faces, through a door marked private, down a set of stairs I've never been allowed to descend. We go down, and the music fades, replaced by the echo of our footsteps on concrete. We're in the basement, and in the basement is something I didn't know existed, a boxing ring. Of course there's a boxing ring. Rich men and their toys, their need to prove their dominance, to play at violence without real consequences. Victor releases my arm and shrugs off his ruined jacket, tosses it aside like garbage. He rolls up his sleeves, and I see muscles beneath the expensive fabric. He works out, probably has a personal trainer, probably boxes as a hobby, probably thinks he's dangerous. A crowd has followed us down. His friends, other club patrons, drawn by the promise of entertainment. They line the ring, phones out, ready to record my humiliation. "Get in," Victor says, gesturing to the ring. "Please," I whisper. "I'll pay for the suit. I'll work extra shifts. Please. Get in." I climb through the ropes on shaking legs. Or at least, legs that appear to be shaking. Inside, something else is happening. Inside, the phantom is waking up. No, I tell her. Stay hidden. Stay buried. This isn't worth blowing your cover. But she's stretching, yawning, ready. Victor climbs in across from me, and he's smiling now. Enjoying this. "Ever been hit before, sweetheart?" I don't answer. I'm making calculations. How hard can I let him hit me without serious injury? How much can I take before I have to respond? How do I survive this without revealing what I am? Someone rings a bell. An actual bell, like this is a real fight. Victor approaches, hands up in a proper boxing stance. He's had training. Not much, but some. He throws a jab, testing, playing. I let it glance off my shoulder. It stings, but not badly. The crowd laughs. "Come on, Victor. Make it quick." He throws another punch, harder this time. I duck, but not fast enough. It catches my cheek, snaps my head to the side. My glasses fly off, skitter across the canvas. Pain blooms across my face. He doesn't know who you are, and with it, anger. I remind myself. He thinks you're helpless. Let him think it. Take the beating. Survive. But Victor is emboldened now. He moves in close, preparing for a real hit, a knockout blow. I can see it in his eyes. He's going to hurt me. He's going to humiliate me. He's going to teach me my place. And something inside me breaks. Or maybe it wakes up. 3 years of running. 3 years of hiding. 3 years of being less than I am, of swallowing my pride, of letting people treat me like nothing. I'm done. My uniform is already torn from the struggle. I straighten slowly, and I look at Victor Kane, really look at him, and I let him see me. Not Lena the waitress. Not the invisible woman. Me. The phantom. I raise my hands. Not in surrender. In a fighter's stance. Victor's smirk falters. Just for a second, doubt flickers across his face. "This was a mistake," I whisper. But I'm not sure if I'm talking to him or myself. The crowd has gone quiet. Even they can sense something has changed. Victor throws a punch. A real one this time, meant to hurt. I'm not there anymore. I've moved 3 inches to the left, and his fist cuts through empty air. Before he can recover, before he can even register what's happening, I strike. One precise hit to his solar plexus. Controlled, calculated, not meant to cause permanent damage, but enough to collapse his diaphragm, to steal his breath. Victor drops to his knees, gasping like a fish on dry land. The entire room goes silent. I'm standing over him, barely breathing hard, and everyone is staring at me like they've never seen me before. Because they haven't. For 10 seconds, maybe 15, nobody moves. Nobody breathes. Then from upstairs we hear it, pop, 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 pop. Gunfire. Screaming. The sound of shattering glass. And everything, absolutely everything, changes. There's a moment, just before violence erupts, when the world holds its breath. Time stretches. Sounds sharpen. Your body knows what's coming before your mind catches up. I learned to recognize that moment years ago, in concrete basements where hesitation meant death. I'm recognizing it now. The gunfire upstairs isn't random. It's systematic. Controlled bursts from automatic weapons, multiple shooters, coordinated movement. This isn't a robbery. This is an execution. The crowd in the basement freezes, their brains struggling to process what their ears are hearing. Rich people aren't used to real danger. They're used to problems that can be solved with money or lawyers or public relations firms. The sound of actual gunfire doesn't compute. But I know that sound intimately. Victor is still on his knees, one hand pressed to his chest where I hit him, trying to remember how to breathe. His face has gone pale, and for a moment our eyes meet. The arrogance is gone, replaced by something raw and human, fear. Everyone down. I snap, my voice cutting through the paralysis. It's not Lena's voice, soft, forgettable, small. It's a voice that commands, that expects obedience. Several people drop immediately, instinct overriding confusion. The screaming from upstairs intensifies. More gunfire. Breaking glass. The heavy thud of bodies hitting marble floors. One of Victor's friends, the blonde woman who caused the spill, starts crying. Oh God, what's happening? Quiet, I hiss. Stay low, stay silent. The door at the top of the stairs explodes inward. Not kicked open, blown open with a shotgun. The sound echoes through the basement like thunder, and plastered dust rains down from the ceiling. Heavy boots on the stairs. Multiple sets. Coming down fast. I count in my head, 3, maybe 4 men based on the footfall patterns. Military boots, not street shoes. These aren't amateurs. The first man appears at the bottom of the stairs. Tactical gear, body armor, assault rifle held in a professional grip. His face is covered by a black balaclava, but I can see his eyes, cold, focused, hunting. He's looking for someone specific. His gaze sweeps the basement, passes over the terrified crowd, and locks onto Victor Kane. Target acquired, he says into a radio mic, basement level. So that's it. They're here for Victor. 3 more men emerge behind the first. Same gear, same weapons, same deadly competence. This isn't a random attack. This is a hit squad, probably hired by one of Victor's many enemies. Tech billionaires don't make $20 billion by being nice. They crush competitors, destroy businesses, ruin lives. Somewhere along the way, Victor Kane made someone angry enough to send professionals with guns. The crowd in the basement erupts into panic. People scramble toward the opposite wall, climbing over each other, screaming. One of Victor's friends tries to run for the stairs and gets shoved back by a rifle barrel. Everyone stay down, the lead gunman shouts. We're only here for Kane. Victor is still on his knees in the boxing ring, vulnerable, exposed. He looks at the men, at their weapons, and I see the realization hit him. His money can't stop bullets. His power means nothing when you're staring down the barrel of an assault rifle. He's going to die. And here's the thing, I should let him. I should stay down, stay invisible, let the gunmen take their target and leave. Victor Kane means nothing to me. He humiliated me, dragged me down here to hurt me, to teach me a lesson about hierarchy and power. 20 minutes ago, I would have celebrated his downfall. But I'm not standing on the sidelines watching. I'm in the ring with him. And despite everything, despite my anger, despite the smart thing to do, I can't watch someone die when I have the power to stop it. Maybe it's muscle memory. Maybe it's a death wish. Maybe I'm just tired of running. The Phantom makes the decision before Lena can stop her. I move. The lead gunman is raising his rifle, finger moving to the trigger, preparing to execute Victor Kane in front of 20 witnesses. His 3 teammates are covering the crowd, confident in their numerical advantage, their superior firepower. They've made a critical mistake. They've dismissed the waitress in the torn uniform as irrelevant. I close the distance between us in 3 steps, silent, fast, invisible until I'm not. The gunman doesn't see me coming until I'm already inside his guard. I grab his rifle barrel with my left hand, yanking it upward as his finger squeezes the trigger. The weapon fires into the ceiling, concrete chips raining down. With my right hand, I drive my palm into his elbow, not hard enough to break it, but hard enough to make his arm go numb, his grip on the weapon loosen. The rifle comes free. I reverse it, slam the stock into his face. Balaclava or not, the nose breaks. He drops like a puppet with cut strings. One down. Time elapsed, 3 seconds. The second gunman swings toward me, his weapon tracking, but he's slow, half a second behind, thinking instead of reacting. In a gunfight, half a second is an eternity. I'm already moving, already inside his line of fire. The rifle is a liability at this range, too long, too unwieldy. I duck under his barrel, drive my knee into his groin, and when he doubles over, I bring my elbow down on the back of his neck. Not hard enough to kill, but hard enough to shut off his consciousness like flipping a light switch. 2 down. Time elapsed, 6 seconds. The third gunman is smarter. He's backing up, creating distance, bringing his weapon to bear. I see his finger on the trigger, see the barrel centering on my chest. I don't have time to close the distance. So I throw the rifle I'm holding. It's not a perfect throw. Rifles aren't designed to be thrown, but it doesn't need to be perfect. 8 pounds of metal and polymer spinning through the air at his face is distraction enough. He flinches, raises an arm to block, and in that quarter second of diverted attention, I'm on him. I hit him 3 times. Solar plexus to steal his breath, temple to disorient him, wrist to make him drop the weapon. He goes down in a heap, conscious but useless, trying to remember which way is up. 3 down. Time elapsed, 9 seconds. The fourth gunman, the smart one, has already abandoned the fight. He's backing toward the stairs, weapon raised but not firing. He's seen enough. He knows what I am. Contact down, he's yelling into his radio. We've got a problem. Abort. Abort. He disappears up the stairs, boots pounding, running for his life. Good instincts. He might actually survive the night. I stand in the center of the basement, breathing hard but controlled, adrenaline singing through my veins. 3 gunmen unconscious on the floor, their weapons scattered. 20 terrified witnesses staring at me like I've just performed a magic trick they can't explain. 12 seconds from the first move to the last. The Phantom is fully awake now, and there's no putting her back to sleep. Victor Kane is staring at me from inside the boxing ring. His mouth is open, his eyes wide. He looks like a man who's just seen a ghost. Or a legend. You, he starts, but his voice breaks. He tries again. We need to leave. I cut him off. Now, that one who ran. He's calling for backup. More will come. But nobody moves. They're all still frozen, still processing what they just witnessed. The invisible waitress. The overlooked nobody. The woman who just dismantled 4 armed professionals in less time than it takes to boil an egg. Sirens wail in the distance, getting closer. Police, ambulances, probably SWAT teams. Monaco doesn't tolerate this kind of violence. Not in its pristine streets, not in its exclusive clubs. There will be investigations, questions, cameras. I can't be here for that. I start toward the stairs, but Victor's voice stops me. Wait. I turn. He's climbed out of the ring, and he's walking toward me. Slowly, like approaching a dangerous animal. Smart man. Who are you? He asks. Not angry now. Just desperate to understand. Nobody, I say. I'm nobody. Bullshit. He's close now, close enough that I could drop him again if I wanted to. But he's not threatening me. He's looking at me like I'm a puzzle he needs to solve. I've heard stories. Underground fighting circuits in Eastern Europe. A fighter who never lost. They called her. Don't, I warn him. Don't say that name. Not here. Not ever. Understanding dawns in his eyes. The bounty. $5 million for a ghost. My blood runs cold. He knows. Of course he knows. Men like Victor Kane collect information the way others collect art. He's probably heard every rumor, every whisper about the Phantom. You just saved my life, he says quietly. Why? I don't have a good answer. Because I'm an idiot? Because 3 years of running hasn't erased who I used to be? Because some part of me still believes in something beyond survival? I don't know, I admit. The sirens are closer now. Maybe 2 minutes out. I need to go, I say, turning toward the stairs. They'll find you, Victor says. Whoever put the bounty on you, when this hits the news, when people start talking about what happened here tonight, they'll know where to look. You've just lit a signal fire. He's right. I've been so careful for 3 years, and I've just thrown it all away in 12 seconds of violence. By tomorrow, every criminal network in Europe will know that the Phantom resurfaced in Monaco. They'll come. All of them. $4 or $5 million, they'd burn this city to the ground. I've destroyed myself trying to save a man who was about to hurt me. The irony isn't lost on me. Then I'll run again, I say. I'm good at running. Or, Victor says, and there's something calculating in his voice now, something I recognize from the boxing ring. The look of a man making a strategic decision. You could work for me. I actually laugh. It comes out bitter, sharp. Work for you? Are you insane? You need protection. Resources. A way to disappear permanently. He's talking faster now, building momentum, pitching me like I'm a business investment. I need protection. Obviously. Those men weren't random thugs. Someone with serious resources wants me dead. My regular security clearly isn't sufficient. So hire better security. I don't need better security. I need you. He steps closer, and there's an intensity in his eyes I haven't seen before. You're the best. Everyone says so. The Phantom never lost a fight, never made a mistake, disappeared without a trace. That's who I need protecting me. You don't know what you're asking. I know exactly what I'm asking. Victor's voice drops, becomes almost gentle. You saved my life tonight. You didn't have to. You could have let them kill me. Probably should have after how I treated you. But you didn't. That tells me something about who you are. It tells you I make bad decisions. It tells me you're more than your past. He pulls out his phone, miraculously undamaged despite everything, and starts typing. I have connections. Government officials, database administrators, intelligence agencies. I can make your bounty disappear. I can erase your past, give you a new identity, a real one, not a fake passport and a prayer. I can make you invisible. The offer hangs in the air between us like smoke. It's tempting. God, it's so tempting. To stop running. To have real papers, real protection. To sleep without one eye open. But I've learned not to trust powerful men bearing gifts. Why would you do this? I ask. What's in it for you besides a bodyguard? Victor is quiet for a moment. When he speaks, his voice is different, honest in a way I don't expect. 20 minutes ago, I was going to hurt you. Not because you deserved it, but because I could. Because I'm used to people being beneath me, being less important, being expendable. He touches his chest where I hit him, wincing slightly. You reminded me, painfully, that I'm not invincible. That money and power don't make you bulletproof. That sometimes the people you overlook are the most dangerous ones in the room. He looks at me, really looks at me, maybe for the first time. I need someone who'll tell me the truth. Who won't worship me or fear me. Who'll hit me when I'm being an arrogant bastard. A ghost of a smile crosses his face. You've already proven you can do that. The sirens are right outside now. Red and blue lights flash through the basement windows. I need to decide. Run again, new city, new name, new life of looking over my shoulder. Or take the deal. Trust a man I just met, a man who was ready to hurt me, who now claims he wants to help me. Both options are terrible. Both options might get me killed. But running is familiar. Running is safe. Running is what I've done for 3 years. And I'm so tired of running. One condition, I say. Victor nods. Name it. If you ever try to hurt someone weaker than you again, someone who can't fight back, the deal is off. And I'll make sure you remember why. He extends his hand. Deal. I look at his hand for a long moment. This is the moment everything changes. This is the moment I stop being invisible and start being something else. Something I haven't figured out yet. I shake his hand. His grip is firm, but not dominating. Equal to equal. Maybe he really did learn something tonight. We need to go, I say, releasing his grip. There's a service exit through the kitchen. We can be gone before the police lock down the building. What about them? Victor gestures to the unconscious gunmen, the terrified witnesses. They'll be fine. The police will have questions, but nobody saw my face clearly. In the chaos, the panic, I'll be a blur. A rumor. A story that gets more exaggerated with each telling. The Phantom, Victor murmurs. Not anymore, I say firmly. That person is dead. If this is going to work, if I'm going to help you, I'm just Lena. Your security consultant. Nothing more. Victor nods slowly. Just Lena. We move toward the stairs, stepping over the unconscious gunman. I grab one of their radios, listen to the chatter. The one who escaped is long gone, probably in a car already, fleeing the city. The attack has failed. Victor Kane is alive, and whoever ordered the hit will be furious. Which means more will come. As we reach the top of the stairs, Victor stops and looks back at the basement, at the scene of chaos and violence. I was going to humiliate you down there, he says quietly. I was going to make you feel small, worthless. I wanted everyone to watch me put you in your place. I know. I'm sorry. I'm not sure I've ever heard a billionaire apologize before. Maybe they're capable of learning after all. You can make it up to me by staying alive, I say. And by keeping your promise about the bounty. Done. We slip through the kitchen. Empty now. Everyone either hiding or evacuated. Marie's flour-dusted apron hangs on a hook, abandoned. I feel a pang of regret. She was kind to me. I hope she's safe. The service exit leads to an alley. The night air is cold, sharp with salt from the sea. Police cars are screaming toward the club's front entrance, their lights painting the buildings in urgent red and blue. Victor's car, a black Mercedes of course, is parked 3 blocks away. We walk quickly but don't run. Running draws attention. We're just 2 people leaving a club, nothing to see here. Where are we going? I ask. My yacht, Victor says. It's secure, private. We can figure out our next move there. A yacht. Of course he has a yacht. We reach the Mercedes. Victor unlocks it with a key fob, and we slide into leather seats that probably cost more than my monthly rent. The engine purrs to life, quiet, expensive, powerful. As we pull away from the curb, I look back at Lucille. Police are swarming the entrance now, cordoning off the area. Ambulances arrive, their lights adding to the chaos. Someone will find the unconscious gunman. Someone will piece together what happened. But I'll be gone. Again. Always gone. Except this time, maybe I'm not running. Maybe I'm choosing. Maybe there's a difference. What happens now? I ask as Monaco's glittering streets flash past the windows. Victor's hands are steady on the wheel, but I can see the adrenaline still working through his system. The slight tremor in his jaw, the way his eyes keep checking the mirrors. Now, he says, we survive. Together. Victor's yacht is called Prometheus. Of course it is. Named after the titan who stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. Victor would identify with that, the rule breaker, the revolutionary, the one who changed everything. It's a 150-foot masterpiece of engineering and wealth. All sleek lines and tinted glass, currently moored in Monaco's most exclusive marina. We board via a gangplank that probably costs more than a car, and Victor's remaining security team. 3 men who look competent but shaken sweep us inside. The yacht's interior is all white marble and dark wood, abstract art on the walls, technology embedded invisibly into every surface. Floor-to-ceiling windows show the Mediterranean stretching into darkness, lights from the shore reflecting on black water. Secure the perimeter, Victor tells his head of security, a man named Jensen with a military bearing and a fresh bandage on his arm. Nobody on or off this boat without my explicit permission. Sir, we should move you to a safe house. Somewhere inland, fortified. No. Victor's voice is absolute. We handle this here. Quietly. Jensen's eyes flick to me, torn uniform, no shoes, looking like I've been through a war zone. Which I suppose I have. Who is she? Jensen asks carefully. She's the reason I'm still breathing, Victor says. Treat her accordingly. Jensen nods, doesn't press. Professional. We're investigating who ordered the hit. Initial reports suggest it might be Dmitry Volkov. My blood turns to ice. Volkov. I manage to keep my voice level, but barely. You know him? Victor asks sharply. Know of him. Dmitry Volkov. Konstantine's younger brother. The man who inherited his empire when Constantine died 2 years ago in a power struggle. The man who, presumably, inherited Constantine's grudges along with his criminal network. So that's it. The bounty wasn't just about money or revenge. It was family. Blood. The worst kind of motivation. He's been trying to acquire my company's encryption technology, Victor explains. When I refused to sell, he started getting aggressive. Threats, corporate espionage, attempts to hack our servers. I didn't think he'd escalate to actual violence. You don't know the Volkovs, I say quietly. Violence is always their first language. Victor and Jensen exchange a look. How much do you know about them? Jensen asks. More than I want to. More than anyone should. But I don't say that. Enough to know that if Dmitry wants you dead, tonight won't be the last attempt. He'll keep coming. He doesn't accept failure. Then we need to move first, Victor says. He's shifted into business mode now, analyzing the problem, calculating solutions. Cut off his resources, expose his operations, force him to back off. You can't fight him with lawyers and stock prices, I say. He doesn't operate in your world. He operates in mine. Then teach me. Victor looks at me directly, and there's something almost vulnerable in his expression. Teach me how to survive in your world. Because apparently, that's where I live now. Fair enough. First rule, I say. Stop trusting your security to keep you safe. They're good at keeping out paparazzi and overeager fans. They're not trained for military-grade assaults. You need specialists. Like you. I'm one person. You need a team. People who know how to fight, not just how to look intimidating in a suit. Jensen bristles slightly but doesn't argue. He saw what happened tonight. He knows I'm right. Second rule, I continue. Dmitri will try again, probably within 48 hours. He'll use the confusion, the investigation, the media attention as cover. We need to be ready. How? I think for a moment. We don't wait for him to come to us. We make him react to us. Force his hand, make him sloppy. Victor smiles, and it's not a nice smile. It's the smile of a man who built an empire by being smarter than his competitors. I like the way you think. Over the next hour, we plan. Victor works his phone, calling contacts, pulling strings, activating networks of information that span the globe. I'm impressed despite myself. He might be arrogant and sheltered, but he's not stupid. He knows how to use his resources. The bounty, he says at one point. Tell me about it. I don't want to. But if we're doing this, if we're trusting each other with our lives, he deserves to know. So I tell him. Not everything. Some wounds are too deep to share, but enough. The fighting rings. Konstantin Volkov. The betrayal. The $5 million price on my head. 3 years, Victor says when I'm done. You've been running for 3 years. Yes. And in all that time, nobody caught you. I'm very good at disappearing. Because you're scared. The words sting because they're true. I want to deny it, to say I'm just being smart, being careful. But fear has been my constant companion for 3 years. Fear of discovery. Fear of death. Fear of going back to that life. Yes, I admit. I'm scared. Me too, Victor says quietly. I don't show it. Showing fear is bad for business. But right now, I'm terrified. I've never had someone try to kill me before. Never been that close to death. It changes you. We sit in silence for a moment. Two people from completely different worlds, united by violence and survival. I'll make you a promise, Victor says finally. If you help me through this, if we both survive, I won't just erase your bounty. I'll erase you. Completely. New identity, new life, new everything. You can be whoever you want to be. No more running. Why are you doing this? Really? Victor takes a long breath. Because 20 minutes before someone tried to kill me, I was the villain. I was the powerful man hurting someone weaker, enjoying my dominance. And then you saved my life anyway. You didn't have to. You had every reason not to. But you did. He meets my eyes. That's worth something. That's worth everything, actually. So I'm going to keep my promise, and I'm going to become someone worthy of what you did for me. I want to believe him. God, I want to believe him. But trust is a luxury I gave up 3 years ago. Actions, I say. Not words. Show me. I will. The next 3 weeks are a war. Dmitri Volkov doesn't wait 48 hours. He waits 24. Another attack, this time at Victor's office building. A car bomb in the parking garage. We're not there because I insisted we change locations every 6 hours. The bomb kills no one, but it makes international news. We respond by leaking information about Volkov's criminal operations to Interpol. Nothing provable in court, but enough to freeze his assets, complicate his movements, make him pull resources to defend himself. He retaliates by putting a second bounty on me. This time $10 million. I'm officially the most expensive target in the European underground. We respond by systematically dismantling his network. Victor's money opens doors that would normally stay locked. Government officials who owe him favors. Intelligence agencies willing to look the other way while we operate. Technology that can track, intercept, expose. I teach Victor how to fight, not in a boxing ring, but for real. How to survive when there are no rules, no referees, no second chances. He's a quick learner, better than I expected. The arrogance burns away, replaced by focus, discipline. He teaches me about his world, boardrooms and stock prices, the war fought with information and leverage. It's not so different from the fighting rings, really. Different weapons, same principles. We live on the yacht, constantly moving between Monaco, nice Genoa. Never staying in one place, never establishing a pattern. I sleep 4 hours a night, always dressed, always ready. Victor sleeps less. You need rest, I tell him one night, finding him on the deck at 3 a.m., staring at the dark water. Can't, he says. Every time I close my eyes, I see that basement. That gun pointed at my head. I see what almost happened. I sit beside him. The Mediterranean whispers against the hull, and somewhere in the distance, Monaco glitters like scattered diamonds. The fear doesn't go away, I say. You just learn to function with it. How? You remember why you're fighting, what you're protecting, who you're protecting. Victor looks at me, and something passes between us. Understanding, connection, something that goes deeper than employer and employee, protector and protected. I'm protecting you too, he says quietly. You know that, right? This isn't just you keeping me alive. We're keeping each other alive. He's right. Somewhere in the chaos and violence, we've become a team. Partners. Maybe something more, though neither of us is ready to name it. The bounty, Victor says. I'm close. Another week, maybe 2, and I can have it erased. Permanently. But there's a complication. My heart sinks. There's always a complication. Dmitri wants to meet, Victor continues. Face to face. He's proposing a truce. He'll call off his attacks if I give him what he wants, the encryption technology. And I'm considering it. I stand up abruptly. No, absolutely not. You can't trust him. The moment you give him what he wants, the moment you're no longer useful. I know, Victor interrupts. I'm not going to give him the technology, but I am going to meet him, because he's not the only one proposing a truce. Victor hands me his phone. On the screen is an email encrypted from an address I don't recognize. But the signature at the bottom makes my blood run cold. Dmitry Volkov. I read the message. It's addressed to me. To the Phantom. You cost my brother his empire and his life. The bounty stands. But I'm a businessman, not a savage. I'm willing to negotiate. Meet with me. We can end this without more bloodshed. It's a trap, I say immediately. Probably, Victor agrees. But it's also an opportunity. We meet him on our terms in a public place with contingencies. And we end this. Permanently. By doing what? By giving him something he values more than revenge. Victor pulls up another file on his phone. Financial records, shell companies, transaction histories. It's dense, complicated, but I can see the pattern. I've been tracing his money, Victor explains. Every account, every investment, every asset. And I found a way to freeze all of it. Completely. With one command, I can make Dmitry Volkov poor. Not just regular poor. Catastrophically, devastatingly poor. Everything he inherited, everything he built gone. That's not possible. It is with the right access and the right motivation. Victor's smile is sharp. I've spent 3 weeks building the infrastructure. One meeting, one conversation, and I lay it out for him. End the bounty, leave us alone, and his fortune stays intact. Continue hunting us, and he loses everything. He'll kill you on the spot. Not if you're there to make sure he doesn't. It's insane. It's risky. It's exactly the kind of bold, stupid move that either ends a war or gets everyone killed. But it might work. When? I ask. 3 days. Genoa. Public square, midday, lots of witnesses. He agreed to the terms. He'll have snipers. Backup. Contingencies. So will we. I look at Victor Kane. This man who 3 weeks ago was ready to hurt me over spilled wine, who's now proposing to face down a crime lord to protect me. He's changed. We both have. Okay, I say. 3 days. But we do it my way. Wouldn't have it any other way. Genoa is beautiful in the afternoon sun, old world architecture and new world cafes, tourists and pigeons and the smell of the sea. We meet in the Piazza de Ferrari, the city's main square, surrounded by buildings and fountains and hundreds of witnesses. Dmitry Volkov is younger than I expected, early 30s, handsome in a cruel way, wearing a suit that probably cost as much as the car that brought him here. He's flanked by 2 bodyguards, both professionals, both watching me with recognition. They know who I am. What I am. Mr. Kane. Dmitry says pleasantly, as if this is a business lunch and not a negotiation between enemies. Thank you for meeting with me. Mr. Volkov. Victor's voice is level, professional. I believe we have much to discuss. Dmitry's eyes shift to me. The Phantom. In the flesh. I've heard so many stories. I was beginning to think you were a myth. I say. I'd like to go back to being one. Of course you would. Unfortunately, my brother's honor demands satisfaction. You cost him everything. You cost our family its reputation. Your brother was a monster, I say flatly. He deserved what he got. Dmitry's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Perhaps. But honor isn't about deserving. It's about maintaining order. The bounty stands as a message. Betray the Volkovs, and you never stop running. Unless there's a better message, Victor interjects smoothly. He places his phone on the table between them, screen up, displaying a series of financial documents. I have access to every account your organization controls. Every shell company, every investment, every hidden asset across 12 countries. Dimitri's smile falters slightly. With one command, Victor continues, I can freeze it all. Permanently. Your empire, built on your brother's legacy, expanded through your own efforts, gone in seconds. You'll be a king without a kingdom, a crime lord without resources. You're threatening me? Dimitri's voice is cold now, dangerous. I'm offering you a choice, Victor corrects. End the bounty on Lena. Leave us alone. Walk away, and your fortune remains intact. Continue this vendetta, and you'll be too poor to afford the contract killers. Dimitri leans back, studying Victor with new eyes. You would do this? Destroy everything, just for her? Yes. The word hangs in the air, simple and absolute. Dimitri looks at me, and I see something shift in his expression, calculation, reassessment. She must be quite special. She is. I feel something warm bloom in my chest at those words. This man, this arrogant billionaire who humiliated me, who I saved almost by accident, he's willing to burn bridges and make enemies to protect me. Nobody's ever done that before. And you, Dimitri says to me, you would stand with him? Fight beside the man who tried to hurt you. People change, I say. He has. Dimitri is quiet for a long moment, weighing his options, calculating odds. Finally, he nods slowly. Very well. The bounty is rescinded. My brother's honor is satisfied. You've proven yourselves worthy opponents, and worthy opponents deserve respect, not revenge. He stands, straightening his jacket. But hear me clearly. If you ever interfere in my business again, if you ever use that information against me, the truce ends. Understood, Victor says. Dimitri walks away, his bodyguards falling into step beside him. We watch until they disappear into the crowd. Is it over? I ask quietly. Victor pulls up his phone, confirms several transactions. The bounty is officially withdrawn. I'm having my people verify across all major networks, but yes, it's over. Over. After 3 years of running, of fear, of hiding, it's over. I should feel relief. Joy. Something. Instead, I feel empty. What now? I ask. Victor looks at me, and there's something vulnerable in his expression. Now you get to choose. I can give you that new identity, set you up anywhere in the world. New life, new everything. You'll be safe, free, invisible again. Or you stay. With me. We've made a good team. We could continue being a good team. He hesitates. I'd like you to stay. Not as an employee. Not as a bodyguard. Just stay. My heart hammers. This is the moment. The choice that defines everything after. I could leave. Start over. Be normal, finally, after years of running and fighting and surviving. But normal sounds lonely. And Victor, arrogant, changed, complicated Victor, doesn't feel like a job anymore. He feels like home. I'll stay, I say. But you have to promise me something. Anything. No more boxing rings. No more using your power to hurt people weaker than you. You've learned humility. Don't forget it. Victor laughs, genuine and warm. Deal. Though I should mention, you humbled me pretty thoroughly already. Good. Remember that feeling. We walk through Genoa together, no longer looking over our shoulders, no longer running. Just two people who found each other in violence and chaos, and somehow built something worth keeping. 6 months later, I'm standing on the deck of Prometheus, watching the sunset paint the Mediterranean in gold and crimson. Victor joins me, 2 glasses of wine in his hands. Neither of us spill them anymore. We've learned to be careful. Penny for your thoughts, he asks. Thinking about that night, I admit. The wine. The fight. How one accident changed everything. Best accident of my life, Victor says. He takes my hand, intertwines our fingers. You saved me, you know. Not just from the gunman. From myself. You saved me too. From running. From fear. We're both different people now. Victor sold his company, donated half his fortune to charity, started a foundation that helps trafficking survivors and provides real resources, therapy, education, hope. He's still wealthy, still powerful, but he uses it differently now. Better. I help him. Not as a bodyguard, we hired proper security, but as a partner. We identify problems, provide solutions, make a difference. It's not fighting in a ring, but it's fighting for something that matters. And somewhere in the process of saving each other, we fell in love. I never thanked you, Victor says quietly, for that night, for seeing something in me worth saving, even when I was being a monster. You weren't a monster, just lost. We both were. And now, I look at him, this man who was my enemy, then my employer, now my everything. Now we're found. He kisses me as the sun sets, and it tastes like redemption, like second chances, like destiny written in wine stains and gunfire. Because sometimes the worst moments of your life lead to the best endings. Sometimes the phantom becomes real. Sometimes invisible women become seen. And sometimes, just sometimes, spilling wine on a billionaire is exactly what fate intended. Dimitri's eyes shift to me. The phantom. In the flesh. I've heard so many stories. I was beginning to think you were a myth. I say. I'd like to go back to being one. Of course you would. Unfortunately, my brother's honor demands satisfaction. You cost him everything. You cost our family its reputation. Your brother was a monster, I say flatly. He deserved what he got. Dimitri's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Perhaps. But honor isn't about deserving. It's about maintaining order. The bounty stands as a message. Betray the Volkovs, and you never stop running. Unless there's a better message, Victor interjects smoothly. He places his phone on the table between them, screen up, displaying a series of financial documents. I have access to every account your organization controls. Every shell company, every investment, every hidden asset across 12 countries. Dimitri's smile falters slightly. With one command, Victor continues, I can freeze it all. Permanently. Your empire, built on your brother's legacy, expanded through your own efforts, gone in seconds. You'll be a king without a kingdom, a crime lord without resources. You're threatening me? Dimitri's voice is cold now, dangerous. I'm offering you a choice, Victor corrects. End the bounty on Lena. Leave us alone. Walk away. And your fortune remains intact. Continue this vendetta, and you'll be too poor to afford the contract killers. Dimitri leans back, studying Victor with new eyes. You would do this? Destroy everything, just for her? Yes. The word hangs in the air, simple and absolute. Dimitri looks at me, and I see something shift in his expression, calculation, reassessment. She must be quite special. She is. I feel something warm bloom in my chest at those words. This man, this arrogant billionaire who humiliated me, who I saved almost by accident. He's willing to burn bridges and make enemies to protect me. Nobody's ever done that before. And you, Dimitri says to me, you would stand with him? Fight beside the man who tried to hurt you. People change, I say. He has. Dimitri is quiet for a long moment, weighing his options, calculating odds. Finally, he nods slowly. Very well. The bounty is rescinded. My brother's honor is satisfied. You've proven yourselves worthy opponents, and worthy opponents deserve respect, not revenge. He stands, straightening his jacket. But hear me clearly. If you ever interfere in my business again, if you ever use that information against me, the truce ends. Understood, Victor says. Dimitri walks away, his bodyguards falling into step beside him. We watch until they disappear into the crowd. Is it over? I ask quietly. Victor pulls up his phone, confirms several transactions. The bounty is officially withdrawn. I'm having my people verify across all major networks, but yes, it's over. Over. After 3 years of running, of fear, of hiding, it's over. I should feel relief. Joy. Something. Instead, I feel empty. What now? I ask. Victor looks at me, and there's something vulnerable in his expression. Now you get to choose. I can give you that new identity, set you up anywhere in the world. New life, new everything. You'll be safe, free, invisible again. Or you stay. With me. We've made a good team. We could continue being a good team. He hesitates. I'd like you to stay. Not as an employee. Not as a bodyguard. Just stay. My heart hammers. This is the moment. The choice that defines everything after. I could leave. Start over. Be normal, finally, after years of running and fighting and surviving. But normal sounds lonely. And Victor, arrogant, changed, complicated Victor, doesn't feel like a job anymore. He feels like home. I'll stay, I say. But you have to promise me something. Anything. No more boxing rings. No more using your power to hurt people weaker than you. You've learned humility, don't forget it. Victor laughs, genuine and warm. Deal. Though I should mention, you humbled me pretty thoroughly already. Good. Remember that feeling. We walk through Genoa together, no longer looking over our shoulders, no longer running. Just two people who found each other in violence and chaos, and somehow built something worth keeping. 6 months later, I'm standing on the deck of Prometheus, watching the sunset paint the Mediterranean in gold and crimson. Victor joins me, 2 glasses of wine in his hands. Neither of us spill them anymore. We've learned to be careful. Penny for your thoughts, he asks. Thinking about that night, I admit. The wine. The fight. How one accident changed everything. Best accident of my life, Victor says. He takes my hand, intertwines our fingers. You saved me, you know. Not just from the gunman. From myself. You saved me too. From running. From fear. We're both different people now. Victor sold his company, donated half his fortune to charity, started a foundation that helps trafficking survivors and provides real resources, therapy, education, hope. He's still wealthy, still powerful, but he uses it differently now. Better. I help him. Not as a bodyguard, we hired proper security, but as a partner. We identify problems, provide solutions, make a difference. It's not fighting in a ring, but it's fighting for something that matters. And somewhere in the process of saving each other, we fell in love. I never thanked you, Victor says quietly, for that night, for seeing something in me worth saving, even when I was being a monster. You weren't a monster, just lost. We both were. And now, I look at him, this man who was my enemy, then my employer, now my everything. Now we're found. He kisses me as the sun sets, and it tastes like redemption, like second chances, like destiny written in wine stains and gunfire. Because sometimes the worst moments of your life lead to the best endings. Sometimes the phantom becomes real. Sometimes invisible women become seen. And sometimes, just sometimes, spilling wine on a billionaire is exactly what fate intended. Somewhere in the underground world Lena left behind, they still tell stories about the phantom, the fighter who never lost, who vanished like smoke. But now, she's become something even more dangerous than a legend. She's become happy. She's become loved. She's become free. And Victor Kane, the man who once believed power and money made him untouchable, learned the most important lesson of his life. True strength isn't about dominating others. It's about lifting them up. It's about changing when you're wrong. It's about protecting what matters, even when it costs you everything. They say every accident is a tragedy. But sometimes, just sometimes, an accident is destiny's way of rewriting your story. This is how 2 broken people saved each other. This is how a phantom found her way home.